those BRICS countries, and no doubt those conversations are happening.
Thank you, Erin. You will stay with us as we move on to our next news. In a verdict that's gripped both Australia and the world, Erin Patterson has been found guilty of 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder after serving a deadly meal of beef Wellington laced with poisonous death cap mushrooms. The verdict came after a 10-week trial and 6 days of jury deliberation in Morwell, Victoria. The case gripped global audiences, spawning 4 podcasts and wall-to-wall media coverage. The deadly lunch was served in July 2023 in Leongatha. Within hours, her former in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and Gail's sister, Heather Wilkinson, fell violently ill. All 3 died days later. A 4th guest, who was her former husband Ian, survived after spending nearly 2 months in hospital. Prosecutors claim Patterson picked the toxic mushrooms from location posted online and deliberately cooked them into the meal. They accused her of 4 deceptions: fabricating a cancer story to host the lunch, secretly adding poison, faking her own illness, and destroying evidence, including a dehydrator found with mushroom traces. Patterson pleaded innocent, claiming it was an accident. She said she panicked and lied to police after realizing she may have used foraged mushrooms, but jurors did not believe her. They found she lied under oath and intended to kill. The judge reminded the court that this was a court of law, not morals. Erin Patterson will be sentenced at a later date. Now we go back to our guest, Erin Watson. She's a CEO and baker at New York, joining us live from Australia. Erin, what more can you tell us about the shocking news that's happened in Australia, and how's media covering it over there?
Yeah, it's a real shame that I actually share a good name with this person as well. So every time I see her story in the media, I have to sort of check myself. It's extraordinary, really. Like, it has absolutely captivated the country. But I have to say, a couple of months ago, when it started to be in every single news bulletin, I thought, what a slow news day it is here in Australia that this has become headline news every single day. We have a massive cost of living crisis in this country. We have a housing shortage in this country. We have labour shortages in this country. We have all kinds of problems that we could be talking about. And instead, the headline news is that, this Erin Patterson case. Now, it's tragic and it's awful, but it started to really grate on me and many others in recent weeks around the time of this trial. When it all first kicked off, I think people were so surprised by it, and it has such marketable value. I mean, the podcasts, the ABC series that's probably going to come out of it, the Netflix series, all of these things, it's such a marketable product. And we're sort of leading the news with that rather than the big issues that we should really be talking about here in Australia right now. So on one hand, yeah, it's funny and it's got this sort of commercial value to it and it piques people's interest. But at the same time, it's a real tragedy, and there's a lot of other things that we should be talking about right now in Australian media.
Yes, and also now, should there be tighter laws or public awareness campaigns in Australia around such wild mushrooms and food safety to prevent tragedies like this, if there is still none?
No, because this was clearly murder. She's now been convicted by the courts of murder. This was something that she set out intentionally to do. There was a motive, and this wasn't a mistake. Things like that have happened in Australia previously. So there have been cases of people who have consumed mushrooms that have been foraged and they've become very unwell or they've died. That does happen very, very, very rarely. And there generally is so much media around it, and there is public awareness campaigns. So, whereas this is a very different case. She intentionally went out, sourced death cap mushrooms that she knew would make them unwell, made them meals, put them on different plates, you know, I know all of this because it's been in the media every day for the last year, but, you know, this isn't something that happened by mistake. It was very intentional. Whereas when these things do happen and people get unwell from foraged food, there generally is a very big public awareness campaign that follows that.
Thank you very much, Erin Watson, for joining us today.